Am I the asshole for being happy and expressing it when I learned my DIL and son using the family tradition? In our family it is tradition for the girls to be named after a flower. Some examples: lily, poppy, rose, and so on. I love the tradition and it is something that came from my family side. I have 2 sons and 1 girl. This is about my 2 sons and 2 DILs. My first son Mark married Kelly. Mark and Kelly had a baby girl and didn't follow the tradition. I was a bit sad about it, but overall it is their kid. My other son Ryan and his wife Jenny announced to the family that they are having a girl and will name her after a flower. This was over a family dinner. They told me they will be keeping the tradition alive. I was really happy and gave them a hug. I told them I am so excited for them and grateful that they are keeping the tradition alive. I asked if they would like to look at my family books, to see if a name pops out or if they wanted help. They agreed and I spent about an hour looking at names with them. The problem is Mark and Kelly told me I was being a jerk. That I was never that happy when I learned about what they named my first granddaughter. That I need to apologize ASAP. I don't think I did anything wrong, but an outside option would be nice. Not the asshole. Apologize for what? For being excited? For being happy? You have the right to be excited. You have the right to express your happiness. They were right, you weren't as happy about the name they chose as you were about your other son and his wife using a name that follows a family tradition. And that's okay because we don't have to like or love everyone and everything exactly the same. Make it make sense. You are not responsible for an adult's feelings. You don't need to apologize to them. They both sound petty and immature. My God, not the asshole. If Mark and Kelly didn't continue a tradition, why would they expect excitement over a name choice? They're being ridiculous. Nobody is excited over a name choice that doesn't have a connection to anything, thus gives no reason for excitement. At that point it's basically just information. You have nothing to apologize for. Honestly, nah. Mark and Kelly are just feeling hurt because they got different treatment. They called you a jerk because they didn't know how to say, "I feel hurt." Having a parent treat another sibling better than you is basically the #1 fear of most kids. I don't think you did anything wrong, you were just excited, but if you want to be closer to M and J then you should apologize and make sure they know you love them and their kid, no matter what her name is. It'll pay off in the end even if it isn't really necessary. I think it's really hard to judge because we weren't there. It really well and truly depends on how you reacted to the announcement of your other grandchild's name and the excitement you showed for their kid. It's a really fine line when showing appreciation for a kid continuing a tradition and enthusiasm for a kid forging their own path for their family. Info. As you said, you were a little disappointed when your first grandchild's name wasn't following the tradition. Thinking back to that time, did you make them feel guilty about that? Was your disappointment obvious? Not the asshole. You were happy that someone was keeping a tradition that you love. That is always nice to hear, and of course you got excited. The other DIL did not keep that tradition. You were upset, but you respected the choice and moved on. I see it as no one did anything wrong until the apology was demanded. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my parents' second wedding? This entire situation pisses me off. I, 23F, have been low contact with both of my parents for a while. The backstory is that they got divorced when I was 13. It was a drawn-out shitshow and pretty awful time in my life. To be fair, I know they tried not to drag me into it, but I still ended up having to live with the chaos on top of some otherwise rough teenage stuff, and the whole thing permanently changed my feelings about both of them. I do love them, but I can't see them the same way as before and they can't accept that, so it's better if I focus on my own life. Both of them dated other people but none of them stuck, although I got a half-brother out of it. Apparently last year they reconnected and started dating each other. They didn't tell me, which is fair, but they asked to talk to me together while I was visiting for my great-grandma's birthday and announced that they were getting remarried. It was clear that they expected me to be thrilled and for this to fix things. All I could think of is that they made my teenage years so hard just to turn around and, oops, we're back together again, our bad. I congratulated them, but told them not to expect things to change much. Ever since, my mom has been trying to involve me in wedding planning. She wants me to be a bridesmaid. I said no. They asked me to give a speech, I said no. At a certain point, I decided that I really don't even want to go, so I told them last week. They're both very upset and really want me there because they want this to be about the family coming back together. Other relatives have contacted me to talk about it with mixed opinions, but also a lot of, be the bigger person, and, give it a chance. I just don't want to go and be thinking about how all that turmoil was for nothing while everyone else is happy. I don't want them to interpret my attendance as consent to just pretend none of it happened. But I know a lot of people would kill to have their parents back together. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. This is my litmus test to determine if the other party is the asshole. It is when they decide that they need to get other family members involved and on their side. Where were these family members when you were going through? They can expect to spring this on you and decide that this is just going to be okay with you. Not the asshole. Info. Did you tell them your feelings the turmoil they put you through? Sounds like this is bottled up. Not the asshole. Honestly, anytime someone says, be the bigger person, it means, just suck it up and play along regardless of your feelings or boundaries. Not the asshole. But if you can afford it, therapy. You don't want to bring that mess into your own relationships or future kids. You gotta resolve it so it doesn't continue to mess you up. You still don't have to go, obviously. Not the asshole. You don't have to be involved if you don't want to. An invite to attend or participate in a wedding isn't a summons even if it is your parents. Edit for typo. Not the asshole. This isn't about what other people would kill for. This is about you and what you can live with. I think you are right that by showing up at this wedding it would insinuate that you are supportive of this marriage. Is that the message you want to send? If so, go. If not, go on a mini vacation during the wedding. Additionally, stop entertaining comments from other people advising you to go. Tell them this matter is not up for discussion and you will make the decision that is right for you. Am I the asshole for letting my coworker take an Uber home and pay for it herself? I work a minimum wage job, and we were busy yesterday. We finished about 9 minutes before the last bus, and I know I can get there if I run. She asked me if I wanted to share an Uber with her. I told her I'll try to make it first before catching an Uber. I made it, she didn't. She called me an asshole for abandoning her, knowing that she can't run as fast, and making her pay the full Uber fare, and putting her at risk for having to wait for an Uber late at night. Everything in quotation mark is something I don't agree with. Ultimately, I made the bus, you didn't. You figure out a way to go home, not my problem. Not the asshole. You're supposed to be on the financial hook if she doesn't want to run. Nope. Not the asshole. Nothing to do with you. She is responsible for her own transportation. For additional context, the fare turned out to be just over an hour of take-home pay. Not the asshole. But next time I would talk to the supervisor about leaving early to catch the bus, as most people can't afford an Uber, have no one to give them a ride, and walking would be hours long. I'd also think about talking to Our about it too. If you need to catch the bus, then there needs to be another solution than closing so late. My petty self would just leave early enough whether I'm done or not, instead of cutting it so close to the bus. Because if the bus gets there early, then you're screwed. Nope, you're not the asshole. You made the bus, she didn't. It's not on you to cover her Uber. If roles were reversed, I bet she'd do the same. You're not the asshole. You did what worked for you, and that's fair. Running for the bus isn't easy either. She assumed you'd share the Uber but didn't ask beforehand. That's on her, not you. Am I the asshole for telling an ex-friend's mother that I thought her family legacy was homewrecking? Me, Katie, and Maya, fake names, were college roommates. We are all now in our early 30s. Katie got divorced 2 years ago because she caught her husband cheating with Maya. The stress was a lot, and she also miscarried violently and was in the hospital for a month, and suffered from a psychological breakdown. Maya was, apparently, too ashamed to even visit Katie or apologize in person. And our entire friend group cut her off. Katie's ex moved to another city, and no one kept contact with him. Throughout the entire time I've known Maya, her personality was being an affair baby. She was spoiled rotten by her mom, who was her dad's mistress, and has no remorse for it. Her very rich dad paid for her college flat, bought her a house, and covered her in money because he felt guilty that she came from a broken home. Maya, however, kept on complaining about how she grew up poor,
Her mum is a PR manager and earns a lot, and how we wouldn't know how to grow up like her.
We felt very sorry for her and both me and Katie babied her a lot.
Maya's mum, Lisa, fake name, actually defended her daughter when the affair came to light, and told everyone that it was not her daughter's fault. Throughout these 2 years, Lisa has tried and failed to get Maya to get back with her friends, and Lisa has lost a lot of friends and relatives in the process because no one wants to associate with them.
Here is the issue.
Our alma mater has a very tight alumni network.
Maya's actions resulted in no one being willing to be a reference when she wanted to change jobs. Our batch comes together every year and organizes a bake sale for a charity we worked in during undergrad. Maya was unofficially banned since last year as no one wants a scene.
This year, however, Maya and her mum turned up with cupcakes.
Lots of them. Neither I nor my husband looked or talked to them. Katie left as soon as they arrived, and I was seething. Lisa then was saying how these cupcakes are a family recipe and it's kind of their legacy. I then asked her, "Really? I thought your family legacy was homewrecking."
Maya turned red and both she and her mum excused themselves and left.
With the cupcakes. Whatever. Later, one of our old classmates told me that he understood where I was coming from, but it might have been too rude. Lisa texted me from a new number, her number is blocked, on how I'm a sexist person who blames only women. I told her that as Katie's lawyer, I bled her ex dry in the divorce, and hopefully her daughter would have a genuine relationship someday with someone else's husband. Lisa called me a bitch and hung up. My husband thinks I am right,
but 2 more classmates have told me I was too harsh, and am now doubting myself.
Am I the asshole? Edit. Lisa texted me, then called me, when I replied. I didn't add that bit in the paragraph.
Not the asshole. Maya hasn't even been women enough to face Katie. Her and her mother tried to force their presence thinking nobody would create a scene.
They got what they deserved. The apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. Not the asshole on point in identifying their legacy. Maya wants to still be friends with Katie's friends and that's so outrageous she deserved an outrageous yet true remark. Also, what the fuck wants Maya around them and their husband?
Fucking cupcakes? Maya and her mom thought a bunch of cupcakes would smooth over ruining someone's life?
Nah. I hate people that do horrible things and expect to be welcomed back when time has passed without actually making any amends. Not the asshole. They should be hanging their heads in shame, especially Maya.
They thought if they turned up unannounced, people would be too polite to cause a scene and they could stay, and possibly worm their way back with at least some of the group.
Enter Op, who woke up that day and chose violence. I applaud you. They deserved nothing less. Not the asshole. Op, you're queen. So not the asshole.
Love what you said, never stop being Yas.
Not the asshole. I only wish I was as good at coming up with lines like that on the spot. I'll have a confrontation, say nothing but then, hours later, we'll think of something really clever.